Good to have you back. The National Bureau of Statistics says inflation rate measured by the Consumer Price Index dropped from 15.9% in November to 15.37% in December.
Absolutely. The CPI ended 2017 with a rate of 15.37% year-on-year in December, but a drop of 0.53 percentage points recorded at the end of last year makes it the 11th consecutive slowdown in the inflation rate.
All right. Well, CEO Carrie Asset spoke with us earlier, but well, let's just jump that and quickly come to our guest right here in the studio, who is an economist, Lekon Shorte. Good morning, and it's good to see you.
Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Okay, so the NBS, the National Bureau of Statistics, has come out with this figure. Many people have been saying hooray, but some analysts are saying, like, look, this particular rate is actually understated, that it should be a lot higher than that, because December, I mean, talk about high cost of fuel and transportation, the two major drivers of
scarcity, fuel scarcity.
Yeah, of inflation. Should we rely on this NBS? Yes.
Well, if you look at the trend from January, it's been like it's slowing down, really. So it looks like it is consistent. But in addition, apart from NBS, other rating agencies also have been predicting, reporting a slowing down. You know, so there seems to be an agreement there. But as at December, actually, I just had issues. I don't know why, nobody spoke with me. I just said, this is December. We know what happens in December. And then there is, the fuel crisis just came from nowhere. And you and I know that this affects transportation and transportation. There's nothing that is not driven. The clothes on your backs, your cup, this newspaper came in a vehicle. I came in a vehicle, you came in a vehicle. Everything is driven, such that transportation will have to be embedded. I was a little bit skeptical. And then when I started seeing other people raising, I said, okay, maybe I saw something. It then appears to me that it could be deliberate. Somebody sexing up the figures to be consistent. Right now that the MPC of the central bank is not going to be able to say their own part of it. They don't have a quorum. So in addition, in order to make this fumbling government look very like it's doing something, you know, so somebody then sexes up the figures, you know. But I'm surprised if the statistician general, who I have a lot of respect for, will be doing stuff like that. But it appears to me that could it then be printer's devil? And I've been waiting for somebody to say, oh no,
to refute
it is not what we wanted to say. You know,
nobody has come out.
Nobody has come out to say that. And so that worries me a bit. Or thirdly, could somebody have been giving us extrapolated figures all along from the beginning of the year?
So
if it is this, if it is October, okay, in November it will. Let's do it like this. If it is now December, it was November. Okay, so let's extrapolate again.
What many Nigerians have been saying when they bring out figures like this, that okay, the economy is improving, this is happening, that it all has to translate to a better life for Nigerians, very bread and butter on the table. And if that is not evident, then you shouldn't take it for any value.
Let me tell you something. There's something called hidden inflation. This is how it works. Okay, I'm sure you've seen what you call bread onibeji.
Yeah, bebedi bread. We used to call it bebedi.
Now, you know, there are two of them.
Yes.
One side is 60 kobo, 60 naira. Last year, it was 50 naira. And then we saw that we were buying it for 60 naira. Then they said it's now 60 naira. Okay, we grumbled, we bought it. We now started finding out that you tear into this 60, and it would now look like it was a little bit bigger. Then all of a sudden, we started seeing that the 60 naira bread is not bigger than the 50 naira bread. There's a hidden inflation. Economists call it hidden inflation. It's the same way you go to the pumping station. They say a liter of fuel is 145 naira, and then somebody recalibrates such that less than 1 liter is being sold to you. So this is already happening. So for somebody to now be telling me that, you know, I have to accept that things got better at a period when transportation costs certainly went high. You and I know that Christmas, everybody's buying, even though it was bad, but people were buying.
Indeed.
I mean, simple law of supply and demand tells me that when you have a jump up in demand, in effective demand, that is effective demand means somebody who is paying for the goods. Hey, these things
should reflect.
Yeah, it should reflect. So I'm skeptical. I'm hoping somebody in the office of the National Bureau of Statistics will say.
But how dangerous would it be if truly these figures have been sexed up, in your own words? I mean, should we continue to rely on the NBS? And if indeed these figures truly do not reflect the reality on ground, what does that mean for the economy?
Somebody has to leave. Because for me, I've always had a lot of respect for the person of the statistician general. You know, now this makes me begin to doubt him. Seriously, you know. And if I doubt him, that means the entire system I have quite some doubt about. So I'm going to be listening to independent assessors. Oh yes, I'm not going to. I will have thought that we have an oasis of common sense, I mean of good sense inside of the NBS. But if somebody doesn't come out and say, listen, sorry, there was a mistake, I'm going to start having real issues.
But really, do you expect anyone to come, expect a rebuttal anyway from the NBS? Would it even cast aspersion on the integrity, perceived integrity of the body?
In PR, we will say that admit it when you are wrong, so that people will have respect for you, that whenever you say something, you know, you say it because you mean it. And if it is found out that, oh, maybe somehow your information wasn't correct, and you came out and say, listen, we messed up. Okay, people, next time people will believe it. They might say, okay, are you sure what you're saying, telling us this time? Can we go to the bank on this one? But as soon as you know you can reestablish your integrity again, as far as I'm concerned, I think they need to look at it. I just hope somebody is not sexing up these figures.
Food inflation, which was hovering somewhere around a little above 20%, came down to about 19.42%.
Aren't you surprised with what I just told you? And then they are telling us in the urban centers, this is what it looks like.
15.78%.
In the rural centers, this is what it looks like.
Yes,
and then you now came out and told me something else. I hope somebody's computer is not, you know, going out of wonk. Yes, you know, that's what I can only or somebody's sexing up the figures.
Expectedly, really, and as reflected in reports, the inflation in urban centers is supposed to be higher than that.
No, I need to say this. The economist, the economic intelligence unit, has been saying, as far back as, if I remember, I think I read this in November or October, that our inflation rate is going to be going down. Even by 2022, they predict it's going to be about 11%, which is fantastic as far as I'm concerned. You know, however, between you and I know that the only good thing about our economy, and then this year, a lot of money is going to be spent on election. So I expect an uptick, you know, even though you may then get a slowdown from after the inauguration, after the election in 2019, you know. But as far as I'm concerned, I look at the whole thing and I'm asking myself, in 2016, we had about 17-point-something% inflation rate.
17.9 or thereabout.
And then by May 2016, the Naira was devalued. Right there, that's inflation.
Straight up.
Stylishly
right there.
Okay, now, do you, the CBN governor has said by the end of 2018, the first quarter of 2018,
yes,
we should be seeing somewhere around single-digit inflation.
I don't believe him.
Okay.
I
There
don't.
are no indicators, nothing on ground to point to that?
I don't believe him at all. I don't believe him at all. Not at all. I don't believe him at all.
Because of the indices
You see,
so far?
don't forget something. Our economy is import-oriented. The food that we eat, the clothes that we wear, even the roof on top of our head, of our houses, the tiles, practically everything is imported. And the American economy is having some issues right now. And if that happens, you say if America coughs, everybody catches a cold. It's going to ripple out around the whole world, including China, whose GDP is slowing down. Anyway, as I'm sure you know that, you know, so it's going to ripple down and affect us here. So nobody below 10%, it's not going to happen.
One-digit inflation rate.
Okay,
I hope this is not voodoo economics.
Well, we only have to be hopeful, really, that it could happen.
You know. But but if you ask me as a Nigerian, I want things to be better.
Absolutely.
But my heart wants things, but my head tells me otherwise.
All right. Thank you very much,
Leko
Shota, economist. Thank you for your analysis at this time.
Thank you so much. All right.
Yes.
Before we let you go, let's quickly bring you the headlines again in case you missed it. The Vanguard says Obasanjo's letter a distraction. That's according to the federal government.
We'll go to The Nation. Major story, of course. Buhari to Obasanjo, you are wrong on my scorecard. 2019 comment, a distraction.
And The Sun, the Daily Sun, reports FG fires back at Obasanjo, says ex-president too busy to see good things happening in the Nigerian economy. And of course, the plot against Saraki thickens. All of those from the Daily Sun. And
then this day newspaper, FG deflects Obasanjo's criticism, lists President Buhari's achievements, and then the interesting one, EFCC detains former SGF, Bachir Lawal.
And the Punch says FG replies Obasanjo says economy getting better. We remain the best option.
Okay.
That's according to the APC. All right, that's how it's been this Thursday morning on TVC Breakfast. Many thanks for staying with us. Let's hope you can join us again. Of course, tomorrow, Friday, it will be the last leg of the show for the weekend. Yes. Somebody's already excited.
I am.
As I am. Thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to having you again tomorrow. I am Ngozi Alebu.
And I am Azizat Olaoluwa. Have a lovely day ahead.